What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Today I want to talk about Adonis Live, right? Adonis Live. And I think I can make a really good point about Pan-Africanism and its ideology in this here situation, right? Now, so some of you guys know, I criticize Adonis Live, right? I used him as an example how you shouldn't be naive when going to Europe, living amongst a European, even if you have a post-racial mindset, which is a great mindset to have, but you just got to be aware that we don't live in a post-racial world, right? And just like a few other content creators, he aligns himself with FBA, and of course we all know what FBA is, right? We know what the core of FBA is: xenophobic, hateful individuals that do nothing to talk trash online, right? Now, Adonis Live has made quite a few enemies that he didn't know about as he was doing his man on the street, because he maybe knowingly, this is what I believe now, he unknowingly, right, became a part of a group of people that he maybe didn't see. There's a lot of people who subscribe to FBA that don't realize what FBA really is, like its core, right? Why us African Americans reject it so much, right? So he's created quite a following of people who don't like him, right? Because he can come off, because dude is arrogant, right? We got young, dapper individual. You're gonna have some arrogancy about him, right? I mean, shit. When I was his age, I had some arrogance about me when I was younger. You couldn't tell me. There's certain shit you couldn't tell me. I just knew, right? But here's the thing: despite him and what you believe about him or how you view his politics, or you don't agree with him or not, there's an African American brother over there in Europe that legitimately needs the help of his community, right? Like, it's literally one black man in Europe who's obviously being harassed. He's obviously being treated like a second-class citizen, right? He defended himself, right? And he's the one in trouble for defending himself in a country that's racist, right? Now, when I made my critique of him, I made it from a point of more experience than him, because I'm older than him. I've been around these countries, and like when I was in Europe when he was playing with toys, right? And this is before cameras, so you couldn't even turn the camera on and do nothing, right? You had to deal with that shit in the real world, and it was your word versus theirs, right? So I have the experience, and also my line of profession, being United States Marine Corps special operator, right? Being highly trained in counterterrorism and anti-terrorism and the Department of Homeland Security. Like and I went to some of the best sales programs in America. Like, I got so much experience on people, right? And I understand like what's happening here, right? And so from my position, and which I'm starting to see that he also has my position, even though he's more of a post-racial society mindset, right? His position is one that's becoming more revealing, right? And what's really sad is that the guy promoted Romania, right? An ambassador, to Romania, as a black guy, vouching for Romania to be a place that we shouldn't be afraid to visit, right? You do 10 years of that. I don't care what anybody y'all think about him. You do 10 years of that, you should have developed some credibility to where when situations like this happen, even if you're a foreigner, that they should take a look at him like, hey man, this guy doesn't have a history of this and that. This is what he does. We know, and if you know it, if you're a Romanian, you know the history of what the drug addicts do there, the pickpockets do that. You know that, and he hit a lot of that stuff, right? But now that he's being abused, now there's something happened to him. The people that he promoted, right, are turning their back on him. Now, not everybody, obviously. It's never everybody, right? But it's always a good number of people to the point to where this is a societal problem, right? And it does make Romania look bad, because let's be honest, anybody was thinking about Romania until him. Let's just keep it 100. Nobody even thought, man, Romania might be a viable destination. Maybe I should take that in consideration. Nobody was thinking about that until he came along, right? But now what it's showing is that after all that goodwill, one thing happened and now they turn their back on him, right? You could tell it hurt him, right? You could tell that shit hurt. Like, you could tell that shit hurt. It hurt me, right? So now he has a country, right? The people that matter in the country, which is the law enforcement, attacking him, right? Trying to drain his pockets. And I just think that we as African Americans, we as black people, period, whether you like him or not, whether you agree with everything he say or not, or whether you whether he's your cup of tea or not, he's still a black person over there dealing with a racist system on camera for all to see, right? And I believe we should be supporting him. Anyway, like, think about this, man. In America, that white woman, right? Remember that white woman, that Karen, who was disrespectful and said all this to that black baby, right? She called that black baby the N-word. And her community, her racist community in America, raised her almost $1 million to support her. Think about all of the European Americans who did something racist on camera and how their racist community in America supported them. Think about what we're up against. When it comes to the activities of racism, white people show their true colors. They support these people to the tunes of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Hundreds of thousands of dollars for them doing something obviously racist, bigoted, right, to one of us, right? Now we got an opportunity to support one of our guys, right? Whether, like I said, whether you, because if you black, calling yourself FBA 80s, look, we can have a semantics war all day long, but at the end of the day, we black. And the thing is, even somebody who you disagree with or who you view as your ideological enemy or whatever, right? That's in-house. Right now, he outside of the house and he's in danger. And we supposed to put aside our differences, right? Put aside the hate that we feel that we have, even though nobody should be hating anybody on here, right? I mean, unless you're a leader of a xenophobic hate group meant to destroy the black community, sure. But Adonis is not like that. And he made it very clear. And I caught one of his lives, right? And I heard him say something that made me change my mind on him, right? A little bit, right? He, in his community, in his comment section, when his subscribers was calling all kind of people tethers and this and that, he said he didn't like the word tether because he views it as a derogatory term, which I was shocked about. I was like, oh, okay, you're not one of those FBA then. Okay, you can be saved. Even though he's adamant about FBA being a lineage, which is not. It's not. It's not a lineage. It's not anything. Even though I understand the concept, legality wise, it's nothing. It's just made up by Tariq Nasheed, right? I can call you. I can rename us. If that's the case, I can give us a whole new name. We can just say it's a lineage. It will be that easy. Any word could be just turned into, oh, it's a lineage, right? Whatever, right? No, the African American community has not accepted that word. We're not going to because of the original trademarker. Because the person who created the word doesn't qualify to rename all African Americans. He's not of that ilk, right? He doesn't have a reputation that's becoming of a African American leader, right? But nonetheless, everybody who touts FBA are not hateful. Like the fact that he don't like the word tether lets me know he's not really a hateful guy, even though he likes to talk shit, right? He don't like to take shit. I notice, he's a sensitive individual, but he does like to talk shit. But that let me know he's not one of those. So he's not really my op. He just ideologically, he does push for things that my op pushes for. And that's just, that's just what that is. But at the same time, he's still a black guy who needs help, right? He got 300, I think he said he got 300 and member joiners. So that's $5. He got about $1,500 a month. He got going on at least bare minimum as far as his group. To pay for his lower fees. I don't know if that's enough, right? I don't know, because, Romania, they're trying to take his money and they're trying to drag this shit out. And by dragging it out, it also costs more money. And I think that we should maybe support him more. We need to let the world know that even if we have ideological differences with each other and there's different camps, when it comes to certain shit, this is the part where we got to be on codes. Like, all right, look, we need to get our dude home, our brother home, and then we can go back to talking shit, right? We need to make sure that he's all right, because homie's over there by himself. One African American against an entire government, who want to just disregard his 10 years of positive media. Now you got people that want him to shut up about it. They want him to the same way they want people to shut up and dribble, shut up and catch that football, right? Shut up and box, shut up and entertain me. Shut up and be that safe nigga. That's what they want, because they don't like to be made uncomfortable, right? The Romanian people, there were some Romanians who don't like to be uncomfortable. They don't like the truth to come out because it makes them look bad. But instead of changing that thing that's bad, right, they just don't want people to know about it. They want to sweep it underneath the rug. And that don't bring any type of change at all. That brings zero change, sweeping stuff underneath the rug. All that does is lay the next trap for the next individual, right? So this has to be an opportunity where we be like, no, we got to vocalize that we're not going to let some uncorrupt government body just take our guy, right, and do anything with him without having to answer to the greater African American community, or to the greater black community in general, right? That's Pan-Africanism, right? You can have ideological, religious, ethnic differences with people, but that doesn't mean you don't work together when it comes to fighting against our common enemy, or fighting against a system that was built, right, to make us second-class citizens, or fighting against an ideology that is not conducive for a post-racial society. Because ultimately, we all want to live in a post-racial society. Star Trek. We all want to get to Star Trek. But we can't get to Star Trek when we still got people, right, that still want to use differences as a reason to be afraid of somebody, or reason to be hateful to somebody. We got a long way to go. But the only way we're going to make improvements is if we hold people accountable, start telling the truth about how these places really are, right? Putting it out in the open, just like there's places in Africa that got some stuff that need to change, right? There are places in Europe that need to change, and everybody needs to make a change, right, in order to see the change that they all complaining about that they need, right? We all got it's an activity that the community has to participate in wholeheartedly, right? And even though it may seem like, right, it's the minority is the ones creating the chaos around the world, but it's always been a minority of people willing to take action to make change in the world. You can have a silent majority that's inherently good and is inherently post-racial, that's inherently non-violent, that don't subscribe to the systems meant to keep minorities or POCs or black people down. But at the same time, if they don't do anything about it, if they're silent about it, if they want you to be hush-hush and quiet about it for the sake of their reputation or their ego or their comfortability, then that means they're just as bad as the overt racist provocateur that's willing to just go out there and just do it on the face of it. So anyway, you guys tell me what you think about this in the comment section. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
The texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate, you should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Free Sudan, boycott diamonds and gold. Free Sudan, boycott diamonds and gold. We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.